I'm gonna say it one time.
Running shit.
I ain't bullshitting.
And I'm gonna say that.
Bitch, running shit.
I ain't bullshitting.
Welcome to the first Off the Cuff podcast. We got, I'm Grant. This is
I'm
Woody,
Woody.
and we got Ty.
Yeah, and so basically, we're starting this podcast. We're going to be talking about anything and everything, and we're not really going to stick to, like, a discrete topic. We're just kind of going to ramble and talk about what's on our mind.
Yeah, and we're going to try and get, like, a broad assortment of people and kind of, like, everyone under the sun. So if you guys have any suggestions, anything you want to hear, anyone you want to see, just let us know, and we can try our hand and see if we can make it happen.
Facts, yeah, we're going to get a lot of people on. So, first thing that I want to talk about, I watched this movie last night. It's called Greenland. I saw it on, well, the reason I started watching it is because Joe Rogan obviously posted about it on Instagram. But basically, it's this movie about, I think, it's basically about this comet, right? And so, it's gonna like hit Earth, but they don't know that, and they don't know how big it is because it came from like a different galaxy. So they didn't know basically how close it was, and it was supposed to land in the ocean, but it ends up hitting Florida. And so basically what happens with the movie, kind of spoiler alerts, but it basically sends the world into like an apocalypse. But I basically wanted to bring it up because it made me, I texted you last night and I talked about how, like, what did I say to you? I was like,
we just talked about the podcast.
no, I texted you last night and I was like,
Oh,
don't
you're
watch
rambling
this
on about
movie.
some dumb stuff about, like, don't watch this movie. You're going to, like, not, like, love your family or something like
So
that.
I think you mentioned something about crying after the movie
Yeah.
was
Okay,
over.
yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about crying because the movie was so, you know those movies that are like, they keep you, like, you're anxious throughout the whole movie?
Yeah,
Because,
like,
like, there's
the
this,
whole movie, like every horror movie ever. Where you're just,
it was
sitting
like
there,
every horror movie, yeah. But it was like every scene because this guy was trying to, like, get his family into a safe space and there's only one spot. And basically it just made me think about how, like, I don't know, that, like, things like that, like a comet hitting Earth, in our everyday lives, we never think about something like that happening. And, like, I
feel
think,
like there'd be a little bit of a heads up, though. It happens in real life. You know, you're going to
Yeah.
have time, exactly like in the movie
But-
where he knows.
okay,
he goes
but
to
you know
his
what happens in
family.
the movie is they know it's going to hit Earth and there's nothing they can do about it because the asteroid's bigger than the one that killed the dinosaurs.
Damn.
Okay, and they
Bad
know it's
feeling.
going to hit Earth, that, like, the government and everything knows it's going to hit Earth. And so instead of, like, telling the whole world that, they keep it a secret because obviously everyone would already go into, like, a mass frenzy.
Yeah.
And they select like people who have jobs that are, like, going to be needed. So the guy in the movie is like
okay.
a construction guy,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they need him to build things.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically, like,
What are you going to build that's going to stop an asteroid bigger than the
no,
one that
not
killed the
build. It's so
dinosaurs?
when
Yeah, you're
no,
taking the L.
no, it's so when the world gets wiped out, they have people that know how to build, like, structural buildings.
Oh.
That's what they have.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
then they have, like,
Oh,
doctors.
so they're not planning on, like, going into space, you know,
No,
like,
no,
colonizing
they're
Mars,
planning
like
on,
Elon Musk
because
type
they're
stuff.
getting in,
They're
like,
just
this
trying to-
bunker.
Oh,
Yeah, that can
so they're gonna,
survive
like,
it.
just, like,
They're gonna redo basically the world.
Oh, my God.
And so that's basically what the whole movie is about. But I was literally, like, I wasn't crying, but I was, like, emotional at the end because, like, I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where after you do it, you know how, like, when people, I don't know, you get in certain situations where it makes you, like, think about life in a different way. That's what it was. So, like, I was done watching the movie and I was like, bro, you never think about an asteroid coming, like, destroying Earth, but that's, like, a real thing that could happen. Like, that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's not that you, like, don't think about it happening almost per se. It's like when it's like you don't want it. It's like that's something you don't want to happen. And it's like so, I feel like out there of like probability of how that could happen. Like
That's
you're
true.
just like expecting that not to ever happen. Like I feel like that's why it would slip your mind.
Well,
like,
I think it's because it doesn't seem real.
almost,
And I think
yeah.
people don't like think about that it's possible because there's like millions of literally comets and stuff flying through the
100%.
universe.
Like, that makes us that makes you think how small you are too. You see those movies too, where it's like, you know, it zooms out and then, you know, Earth's just a marble.
Yeah, facts.
And it's like dude, we're tiny, you know, in the grand
That's
picture,
facts.
dude, we're nothing. We're just a little Earth. You know what I mean? Our Earth is a grain of sand, literally a
That's
grain
facts.
of sand in
So,
a giant ocean.
You know, one
of
thing
rocks.
that I wondered about that I don't know the answer to, and this is why I'm asking it. So, like, there's galaxies.
Yeah.
What's after that? Is it just the universe?
No. The universe, the galaxy's the biggest, right?
No, universe is the biggest. The universe is everything, but a galaxy is what
Isn't
we
the Milky
live
Way a
in.
galaxy?
What?
Isn't the Milky Way a galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
what
is.
we live
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
so
Earth
that's
is.
not the biggest then.
No, it's the universe is the biggest. This is a dumb.
Yeah,
this is a
facts.
dumb question.
Facts. That was a
Universe
dumb
is the
thing.
biggest, but is there anything after galaxy?
No.
Because they say there's millions of galaxies, and you know how big a
Yeah.
galaxy is? A galaxy's huge.
Huge. Yeah, no, there's nothing bigger than a galaxy.
So the fact that there's millions of
Yes,
galaxies.
there is stuff bigger than a galaxy, is there not?
No,
It's
there's
the
nothing bigger than a
universe,
galaxy.
but-
it's just the universe.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying.
But the universe
so
is
it's
just
like,
everything. You know what I mean?
The universe is the whole
Where
thing.
it's like, if you're talking like miles around the Earth, and then you have the Earth.
Yeah.
You don't really count it as like the same. Where it's like the universe is the Earth, and then the galaxy are like the little miles on the Earth
Yeah.
that takes to get around. Like, so it's
Okay.
not really the same.
and that's like one of the things where it's like we get into talking about how it's crazy that we, not so much anymore, but like people think that we're the only like sentient beings that are
False.
out in all of this. So I was looking this up. I was actually reading an article on this, and it was saying, all the different like things that have come into like getting us to where we are, like how we have the right atmosphere to keep like liquid water like on our planet and whatnot, and not have it be like all frozen and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like all the different things that go into like life being able to be supported by the planet we live on. And it's like crazy. Like the number is so astronomically low.
Yeah.
Like just like we're talking like this asteroid hitting, like you don't think about, like this would like never cross anyone's mind if you told somebody the statistic of like us
I know.
being here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
And-
you think of how big the universe is though. It's like how many like more of our planets are there? Like
well, there's a
No,
calculation.
there's definitely some.
There's a
And
calculation.
There's a statistic. I don't know if this is true or not. Like, but there's a statistic that I heard where everyone like, and this is just to be a human. It's like what are the odds where it's on like on Earth that just that you're a person. Where
Oh.
I don't know if it should be. Yeah, you've heard this one
Yep,
too.
yep.
Where it's like the odds in general that you're a person. You think of like you could get struck by lightning. I don't know if you've ever heard this one. But, like you get struck by lightning like 5 or 6 times, and that's like the same as winning like the Powerball, like
Yeah.
the grand prize.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that think about like no one's like you don't know anyone that's got struck by lightning, and if you do, you only know one person.
Yeah.
And then that could happen 5 or 6 times, and then just being like a human, they say that's gonna happen like 7 times. You'd have to win 7 Powerballs
I can
or something like that to be a human. Like that's like
But
the same
here's
odds,
yeah.
and like that's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean like that's
This is how many. This is the calculation. I forgot what the thing's called. There's like a name for it, but it says at least 6 billion Earth-like planets. But if you think about it, if the universe is as big as infinity, like it's an infinite universe, isn't there an infinite amount of Earth-like planets then?
there probably is, but that's the thing. You're talking one is just an Earth-like planet and one has sentient beings on it. And that's the
And-
difference. How many are
That's
colonized by people that are
Yeah.
like us?
And like, why do we assume that another sentient being has to have the same conditions we do? What if they don't need?
And I think that's
what
what
if they
they're
don't need
expanding.
I
oxygen?
thought about that too.
Like, what if they don't need
fact.
oxygen?
What if they're like they're living off carbon exactly?
Yeah.
They don't need
So
like
like
oxygen to
Earth-like
replenish their cells.
planets is like
Yeah, facts.
kind of a
And even
Just
like the
assuming
look
they're
of
like
aliens,
us.
like the classic Hollywood look. Everyone
Yeah.
knows it. You got like that long skinny neck with that big
big
head,
eyes,
big
yeah.
eyes. There could 100% be an alien that's tiny. It's
Yeah.
like
Or there could be, like,
microscopic almost. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You almost
yeah,
like see
yeah,
those
yeah.
movies where I don't necessarily mean that small. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
they could be a multitude of sizes.
Yeah.
But like. We could see aliens that are way bigger than us. They're like dinosaurs, or like even bigger than dinosaurs, because their planet's like that much bigger, where they can, fit that habitat or whatever, their climate.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
then there could literally be ones where it's like they're tiny. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's why they keep expanding their, like search almost. They keep expanding their, limitations as to what they want to call life,
Yeah.
type of a thing.
And it's like,
like
what
how
is
so?
what do you consider sentient? Because like,
Sentient means you're aware of your being.
yeah,
That's what
okay,
sentient-
so
like,
then a
living and
dog is
sentient
not
are way
sentient.
different. No, a dog is sentient.
But
Sentient. A
it
dog
doesn't
knows it's
think
alive.
about it being alive. It's
No,
just
I-
alive.
I know, but like,
Well, see,
a
but how do
dog
you know
knows
that?
it's alive.
Did your dog ever tell you that?
That's true, but yeah. Okay, this is the chances of you being born though. Is 1 in 400 quadrillion.
Holy crap!
I feel
I
like
don't
that's
even know
more
if
than
that's
7 Powerballs.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's 7
See,
Powerballs.
that's crazy, bro. I think it was Gary Vee where I first heard this because he was talking about it, and he said like I don't think that's the number he had, but he was saying like you have at least one and whatever, and he's like, so you're already a winner or something. He was like, because
wake
beat
up
all the
every
other
day with the
sperm.
mindset that you're a winner because you are. You know, you just won. Just to be where you are, you could be poor, you could be broke. It doesn't matter. You
That's
could be whatever,
facts.
and you're already a winner just because you're here.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the caste system in like India, then they're pissed.
All right.
Okay, think about that too, though. Like, what roll of the dice you get when you're born? Like, what you're born as?
Facts.
Like, the only world that we know, just because it's the only life we've lived, the only world we know is like what we've experienced so far. But you can't even almost comprehend what it would be like to be born in like Africa in like some like tribe or whatever.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just depending on, who you are. I guess you might
Yeah.
think that, but like I said, in
That's true.
places where they have, caste systems like that, when you're born into something, you're born into the untouchables. And,
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
you think I'm going to spend my whole life living this way to try and make my way up the ranks,
But
And-
I think that's like the messed up thing about like India's caste system too. Is, they don't make their way up the ranks. There is no movement.
Yeah, you're born one,
Yeah,
and that's what you
You're
are.
born. You stay that for the
Yeah,
rest of
you
your
can't
life.
move up.
There's no. It's not like capitalism in America. Where it's like you can you
can
came
be
from the
poor.
bottom down below.
Right,
Like
so
you're
it's
coming
just-
up. You can't. There is none of that. It's
Well,
like
yeah,
you're
but
born into that. You will never get out of it.
But I thought that's when they're trying to be on their best behavior because they
No.
hope when they die they're reborn into a new.
Maybe it's that, but in
System.
the life that they're
Oh.
in,
No, I feel like you're thinking.
There's
more of, like,
there's no moving up when you're alive. The thing is though, when they die, they hope they've spent their whole life living, in
a good
their
way.
purest form in a good way.
is it
Because
kinda
when
like
they die
Buddhism,
and
though?
they're reborn, because they believe in reincarnation.
You might be thinking Buddhism. I think you're thinking Buddhism.
I feel like that's definitely in the caste system.
It might be. I might be wrong. I could 100% be wrong.
I feel like there's no moving up. Like if you're an untouchable, you're an untouchable. If you're born
Yeah.
into that system, then that's it.
That might be.
But
I'm
when
not
you
sure.
die, you get reborn into a new.
Look up
System.
Buddhism.
Okay, sure. System device.
Because I think you're thinking. Of
Oh,
Buddhism.
this says right here though, India's caste system. India's caste system is among the world's oldest forms of surviving social stratification. The system divides Hindus into rigid hierarchical groups based on their karma, which
Okay,
is like
so it is
Yes,
a little bit.
so
if you
that's
do
what
your
it
good
is.
deeds, if
You-
do good.
You hope you get
Alright,
good karma
alright.
through your whole life and that you're reborn and
Hmm.
that you get, like, your payment for the good karma is being reborn into a system
yeah.
that is
Yeah.
obviously either better or the same, if you're already
Yeah.
up there, the same as what you had
Yeah.
because they don't want to be untouchables.
Isn't it so weird how still like,
Today,
you
they
think
still
by-
have that. Yeah, you think
you
by
think
this
by
time,
this point like everybody
Yeah.
would kind of be on the same
100%,
page?
100%.
There's still people doing slavery, and there's
Yeah.
there's people.
That's nuts. I
That's
feel like
so
people don't
crazy.
realize that enough too. Is there's still slavery. Like
That's
that's
what
not
I'm-
a thing.
yeah.
That's not a thing. Twice. Like there's still slavery going
Yeah,
on.
and that's kind of what I was saying earlier when like we can't comprehend being born as another
Facts.
person. Like all you know is what your experience is of what you've had so far. Like we're only 17.
Yeah.
Like our
Yeah,
experiences
we're
are
worrying
like
about if our cheeseburger has bacon on it, or if on spring break we're gonna
That's
be going on a
facts.
trip.
And these people
there's
are
people out there like you see these like
wondering where
commercials
their
of kids
next
in
meal
Africa.
is. Yeah,
I hate to
facts.
use like the term kids in Africa because it's so overused, but like
It's facts.
there's kids in Africa where like literally like they're. I hate to say, it, they're like they got no food.
Yeah.
Like they're looking for like anything.
Yeah.
So, like, right now, there's, like, 40 million people that are still in slavery.
Is that the facts? That's crazy.
So-
That's actually, okay. I feel like that's not a ton. That might.
Well, you
be
think
weird,
there's,
but I
what,
feel like
about
that's not a ton.
250 million, maybe a little bit more, isn't it, in
Well,
the United
boy.
States?
There's like
there's-
330 million in the
Yeah.
United States now.
U.S.
But like, yeah, that's like obviously in the grand scheme of how
That's
many
not a
people are
ton.
on the planet.
I would
What is
say
it?
it'd be
7?
more. There's almost almost
Billion?
8 billion. now.
320
Almost.
million in the United States.
Yeah.
Eight.
But you still
328.
think 40 million, so you think
Yeah,
you've got...
That's obviously in the grand scheme of how many people are on the planet. That doesn't seem like a lot. But if you individually think about 40
But
million,
just think about it. Actually, just wait. Look this up. Like I know we're having to look a lot of stuff up.
That's
But
fine.
how many people die each day? I bet it's more than that. I mean,
In the world?
yeah. So just look how many people die each day.
See, but here's
bet
the
it
other
might be
thing
more than
though.
that.
71% of that 40.3
Oh,
million
close.
is females.
There's no way. Wouldn't you think it'd be more than that?
1 in 4 kids is
100
children.
No, I don't know. It might.
6,000
Or 1
people
in 4
die
people
every
are
hour.
children that are in slavery.
So there's 150,000 people that die every day. And if there's 150,000 people that die every day, how many do we say? How many slaves are there still? 40 million.
40.3 million individuals. Yeah.
Like that's a ton, but. in the
See, but
grand
you gotta
picture, I don't
think when you talk and you're like, yeah, we're worried about our, bacon on our cheeseburger. We're worried about these things. Like so first world problems. The thing is, the people that are owning these slaves right now are multi-billionaires.
know.
I mean, in the countries that they live, like they are the richest of the rich, and they just like the moral value isn't there. Like they don't care.
Yeah.
Like they're making money, and that's the way they're gonna stay. And that's just like that's the sad thing about it is it's a multi-billion-dollar like industry, and like for that to go away and for the people that are on top of that system right now to say, okay, I'm gonna set my money aside and set my personal wants aside and take these people out of the poverty they live in and stop owning slaves. For that to happen, I don't know that you'd ever see that.
Yeah.
Do you know in Rochester? Do you guys remember not like too long ago, 6 months ago? Like he went to the Mayo Clinic. It was like the Prince. His plane was at the airport.
From like
Do
India
you know where
or
that was
somebody.
from? It's
I
not.
don't
It
know.
wasn't.
Well, I know the
India.
Dalai Lama comes in.
But like it was like the Prince of a
I know
Middle
what you're
Eastern
talking
country. And
Kuwait.
Was it Kuwait? Honestly, it might have been Kuwait. That doesn't sound too far
I
off.
believe it.
At the Rochester
Yeah,
airport.
it's
Mhm.
Rochester
And you can see
International.
its nationality like flag on it.
Yeah.
And I remember, so my friend's mom used to work at, what is it, 51, 54, like imports, like Pier
Oh,
Imports
Pier
or
1
something like
Imports?
that.
Pier
Yeah,
1?
Pier 1 Imports. I don't know where I got 50 from. But yeah, Pier 1 Imports. She used to work there. And she said that, like, this was 20 years ago, so this wasn't the same time that we're in now. But that when she was working there, the prince of one of these Middle Eastern countries came in, and he didn't even talk to, like, it was their tradition, it was their custom. They didn't even talk to, like, the people, like, working there. The prince just sits there. And then she said that women actually came up, and, like, the women, like, they bought the entire store. Every single thing in the store, they bought it. And, like, they were like, oh, okay. And then just everyone went home that day early because they
There's
were
nothing in the store?
completely out of stock. And that, I don't even know if he got out of his car now that I think about it. I think it was, like, he had, like, multiple cars, like, a caravan of cars, whatever. And then I don't even know if he got out of his car. I think it might have just been two people that just came up to the counter, goes, all right, we'll take the whole store. And then they left. Like, they got everything from the store and then they left. And, like, that's nuts. Like, that's like money. You know what I'm saying?
What was the store? Did you already say?
Pier 1 Imports.
Oh, Pier 1.
I already said that.
I forgot. Yeah, my bad.
But, like, still, I don't really shop at Pier 1 Imports.
Yeah,
But,
their
like,
furniture, though. They have, like,
I was going to say, but
couches
like, that's
and-
not cheap. You're not going to the Dollar Tree and being
it's
like, yo,
hundreds
give me everything
for
in
a
the
single
store.
item.
So, like,
Yeah, he's balling.
Well, that's
I
the
don't
thing,
know,
but
that's a
like, what
ton.
are you buying? I feel like my mom gets stuff from Pier 1 Imports, but like, why are they getting that
He
stuff?
probably just-
great question.
he probably
I don't
just
know.
did it 'cause he's rich and it's like,
exactly.
yeah, let me drop the
when
ball.
you're rich, when you're like that, I
Yeah.
don't know if you necessarily need to think about how much you're spending.
And,
Well, not
like,
that you need to think
No,
about
he-
what you're spending, but like think about what you're buying. Like,
No, no,
why?
no.
Like, what use is
just
it?
wait, just
he
wait.
had to have just done it to do it because you wouldn't buy multiple of one item.
Well, we think about this relates back perfectly to what we were just talking about before, where we think we don't know what we're born into kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where we're born into this. This is something where I'm sure there's a chance that this guy was born into that money because I'm not like it's
Oh
hard.
yeah, it's all old money.
Yeah, it's hard to get into that. You know what I mean? To get to that level of success. So the chance that he was, which I'm thinking are pretty high, like that's his way of like living. I'm sure he's done that multiple times, like
Yeah.
numerous times. But to him, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
To us, we go, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
he just bought out an entire store. That's insane. Where to him, I'm sure he was like, I do that
Yeah.
a lot. Like that's not that big of a deal.
You know what? One thing I was thinking about today to like go into a different topic, but I was just thinking about how like, do you guys like growing up in a small town?
Yes.
You do like it? Why? Like, what are some things
So-
about it you like?
Like the thing I like hear about from like kids that go to schools that are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Like even some in Rochester, where it's like people walk down the hallway and they're like, I've never seen that kid before.
Mhm.
Like I can't imagine walking down our hallway and like looking at somebody and being like, I have never seen that person before and know absolutely
Yeah.
nothing
We
about
know
them.
every
Like,
name of every person.
well,
in
and
my
that's the
grade.
thing. Like we walk down the hallway and it's like every single time you walk down the hallway, there's somebody like there's like 3 or 4 people that like every single time, almost every single time you like at least talk to or like say hi to. Like it's at least like the nod of a
Yeah.
hat, type of thing.
Yeah.
And like taking that out and being in like I guess the place of like you don't know hardly any of the people in the hallway just because there's that many people. I feel like you'd be so like separated from the
Possibly.
group.
Okay, but for those of you who don't know, I actually used to go to Rochester.
You went to Mayo, right?
Well, I didn't actually go to like Mayo High School because I wasn't.
Yeah,
old
you
enough.
went to middle school.
Yeah. So I went to Rochester, and I can say like firsthand the one thing 100% is like like the assimilation though of people like in a small town is like nuts.
Yeah.
Like everyone, but that's almost like a drawback.
I was
sometimes.
just gonna
Because
argue
see,
against your
because
thing.
you know everyone, but then there's two things. Like one, you know everyone, so it's like if something happens, like that gets around so
Like rumors
quick.
even.
Well, that's the
and
thing. What they say, like
everyone knows.
everybody
Yeah.
dies famous in a small town type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got some story behind, who they are, and I guess
Yeah.
when you live in a town the size that we do, I mean,
That was gonna be like
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And then-
My argument. Or you can say yours first.
But I was gonna say, and then the second thing is that two is it's like conformity to the max.
Mm-hmm.
A small town is people like, dude, it's a factory. You are a factory line making the exact same thing.
I was gonna
You
say
know
the
what I
same
mean?
thing.
Like, everyone is the exact same walking through the halls. Everyone, like, you might have like a couple disagreements, but like when you don't know those people, and there's so many different groups in larger schools and stuff like that. There's a lot more. Just honestly, for lack of a better word that I can't think of right now, there's just a lot more culture. There's just a lot
I was
more
gonna say that.
going on.
My argument.
Yeah.
was
Whereas,
gonna
like,
be-
in a large town, there's just so much more going on. In a small town, there's just not as much. Because it's like, if you're not like that normal
I
group,
feel like that's also one of the big things that people talk about, like when they go to college, is just the fact that they were
Yeah.
never exposed to other like religions,
Yeah.
other
cultures.
cultures,
Even
just like
us,
other
growing up in like an all white like town.
Oh
like,
yeah, well, and that's just the thing. Like we don't go to school and be sitting there around people where the person next to us is like a Buddhist, and we got other people that are
Yeah.
Jewish and we're Catholic
sure.
and whatnot. It's like everybody in our school, just about like you could almost say, is like it almost seems like they're either non-religious or they're like Christian of some sort. Like whether
Exactly.
you're
religion is definitely a much bigger
Lutheran,
thing in small towns, 100%.
Episcopalian, Catholic, like whatever you are, it's like you're either Christian or you're like non-religious.
Yeah.
And
I
like
was
that's
gonna-
it. Like you're just never exposed to any of that like other like you said any of that other like culture like anybody else's.
I was gonna say, like, the reason I was thinking about it, and I was kind of thinking about just like us starting this podcast and stuff, like the points you brought up are the exact things I was gonna say, and I feel like as much as it is cool knowing, because I know every name of every person in our grade, like I know everyone, and it's like
I think everyone does.
as cool as
Everyone
that
knows
is,
everyone.
it's like once you get to junior year in high school, like I've gone to our school for like the whole time since
your whole life.
kindergarten. I know all the people that have been there since then. I know them till now, and it's like once you get to be 7, that's what like
A lot of
10
years.
How
A
many
lot of
years is
years.
that? A lot of years
Actually,
that
we're
I've
so
known these, that I've
Yeah.
been with them more than my family almost, because you're with them 8 hours a day, and it's like once you get to this point, it's so everyone I feel like is so restricted because like I said, the reason I brought it up is because thinking about us starting this podcast, like nobody else is gonna start a podcast. Just saying, like we're kind of a
No,
group
and
of
we're-
outgoing people, and I
Yeah.
feel like once you're in a small town, everyone's so afraid of judgment and
Facts.
stuff. They don't do
Because
anything,
again, you're
and
so
it
close with
restricts you.
everyone. You're
Exactly.
right. We're the only ones doing the podcast thing. I'm sure we might even receive just like a little like
No, we will.
backlash from it.
That's what I
But-
was thinking of it from. I was like, yeah, I
Like,
bet.
who cares? Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. But like, it's a thing where it's like everyone probably wants to do something like that. Like, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to, like, express themselves and put out
Everyone does.
ideas?
There's
But I
gotta be,
feel
like,
like that's
something.
getting more common.
Yeah.
Like, people share that stuff now. Like, for us, like,
Yeah.
they always said, like, I think we were talking about this before. Like, when we were younger, you know, you get into that stage of, like, the judgment heavy people and, like,
Yeah.
like all the kids are dicks.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
Plain and simple, yeah, that's
It's
facts.
true.
Like
And-
middle school.
Yeah, and
don't
just,
even-
like, everybody's kind of, you know, like, you're either, like, you're cool or you're not.
Exactly.
And we've kind of you get into, like, that, like, almost like 8th grade kind of a stage where, like, people kind of become friends again, but then you kind of get out of it at the start of high school.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
we're getting back into that point now where it's like everybody is, like, kind of getting tight again.
Yeah.
And I feel like like, now more than ever being in COVID times where we're, like, split up, you know, the amount of people that are just like, oh, yeah, I wish I was just back in school just because, like, just to be tight with everybody again.
Yeah.
You know, and just to be, like, back around, like, the people.
Yeah.
Because, like people say, they're just, like, you know, everybody's pissed off because it's like, you know, we spent 11 years going to school with these guys.
Yeah.
And here it's our last year of high school. And,
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
yeah.
I guess even, you know, the last a few weeks of last
Even
year,
the last
you know, we were out.
half. I was saying to you, like, I don't even remember the last half of sophomore year.
Oh, yeah,
I
and
don't
that's just the
remember it.
thing. I mean, it's just like that
Other
that
than
last
cheating on
half,
tests, it's so much
Yeah.
easier to cheat on tests.
Yeah.
But-
that last half coming into this year, it's just like having everybody so separated.
Yeah.
Like, it just almost seems like it's like we're just at that point where everybody's kind of getting tight again and everybody's kind of cool with everybody. And it's like, yeah, you might not, like, share the same interests and whatnot, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, who cares? Like, everybody's just kind of friends no matter what.
Yeah. I feel
And-
like it's like I agree with you, but I also feel like it's like I feel like in middle school and, like, the beginning of high school, kind of, people are more outright judgeful to people. Or, like, and there's more, like, things said about each other. And I feel like we get to this state almost just because we've been, like, in the same classes and stuff with everyone for so long. You get to this part and it's like nobody really cares anymore. Like, they kind of do. They're not. Because I already know right now there's certain people I talk to and they would, like, instantly just say something. But they wouldn't say it unless you talk to them,
That's
kind of
facts.
thing, maybe.
Well, even when you
Yeah.
talk to me a lot of the time, like,
Okay,
I'm like, don't talk to me. You know?
Okay, yeah,
All right, but we've kind of been talking about, like, a lot of just, like, random stuff throughout the podcast. Let's hop, like, a little
Yeah.
bit more mainstream for a sec. And honestly, just about graduation.
that's
You know,
facts.
just today we heard that
Mm.
there's no prom for juniors. It's a senior only thing.
Dude, and we haven't been to a prom.
Well, I mean, I don't. Yeah,
I
facts.
know.
I don't care. But, like,
I know, but still, like, that's one of those things that's like, in the
But-
moment you don't like it, but, like, when you grow up, you're like, oh yeah, I went to prom or whatever.
yeah. But
It's always something to look back on.
Yeah,
But that
that's
was the
true.
thing we were always talking about is, like, there's, like, a select group of kids that I know, like, in our grade. So, like, I went as a sophomore. Noah Senjum went as a
Yeah.
sophomore. I think Araya Herman went as a sophomore. Like, there's just a few kids that I know went as sophomores. That's
Yeah.
like, if we weren't given, like, the opportunity to go again this year, it'd be like we'd be the only kids in our whole grade that got the opportunity to go to, you know, like, go to prom.
Yeah, I know.
Which is like a big
That's
deal.
crazy. That's
Let me plug this
crazy.
in real
Yeah.
quick, boys. My computer. But yeah, we can just edit this out. It's fine. Where's my charger? Ah, dude, I can't plug it in. Do you have an extension? Maybe.
Would you just use mine?
Wait, yeah, I'll just use yours. Oh, that'd have been a lot easier. All right. So what were we saying?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's just like that's a really big deal for, like, having, you know, like 4 or 5 kids in a whole grade
Mm,
only getting to go to prom.
yeah, once. We'll only
Once.
get to go once. Maybe. What if it doesn't happen next year? But, like, yeah, that's a crazy thing. I mean, for those of you who don't know, me and him are juniors and you're a senior, and it's like, yeah, it's, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing because we were talking in the car today, like, when you're a freshman and even when you're, you know, in 3rd grade or whatever, and you see it, I've seen it a lot on, like, TikTok recently, but it's like when you're a young kid and they're like, you graduate in the class of 2022, and you're like, oh yeah, that's so far away. Even, like, just the 2020s, that seems so far away, and it's like, oh, we're juniors, like, we're already juniors. Or we're juniors, you're a senior.
So, okay, off topic again. One thing I saw that was crazy the movie Frozen is like 8 years old now.
That's crazy. Stuff like that.
Like
is
that,
nuts.
like
That's
that
nuts.
came out when we were in
Remember-
like 4th grade. I
remember
saw
when
that
it-
the other day, and I was like, wait.
Remember when it just came
Yeah.
out and everyone's like, yeah, the music is playing?
Okay, but like the past is in the past. Like let it go. Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, but-
Okay, we can edit this out.
Okay, Grant. So you being a senior, like, what do you want to do after high school?
Well, so as of right now, I mean, plans shouldn't change, but I'm thinking about getting out of fire department. Hopefully, it'll be about a year, probably like about a year from now, because you guys know I don't turn 18 till
Yeah.
August. So it'll be a little while for me. But I'm actually thinking about taking a EMT class over the winter.
What's that?
It'll just be like learning more stuff in like the medical field and whatnot. Because like getting out of fire department, so it's like some people, you know, are like hired and they only want to do like the fire side.
Okay.
But I guess common misconception about like I guess police officers and firefighters, like they do a lot more with medicals than you think. And like obviously it's like the whole first responder thing's like, yeah, obviously they do medicals, but like the amount of training we have to get, like you have to do like just as much training almost like for medical stuff as you do for fire, because 3/4 of your calls are going to be medicals.
That's true. Yeah.
And so, like, for me, taking this class is just going to, I guess, further that, I guess, experience and knowledge of, like, that.
So does this mean that you're gonna be like in an ambulance, or is
No,
this
no,
more
no.
like
So
you're
I
still
still-
just rolling up to someone's house
Cause-
or having?
When you're a firefighter, you
Right.
still have to, like, know how to...
Yeah,
there could
so,
be
I mean, that's the
people
thing. You're
dying,
still
like-
a first responder.
Yeah.
I mean, and so, like, you're still rolling up to a car accident, you know, and you got to start, well, I mean, anything medical under the sun.
Yeah.
You've got to know how to do it, because for response time for other people, I mean, whether being that they got to get an ambulance there or they got to fly Mayo 1 in to take people out, you've got to be able to get care to the person that needs it while you're waiting on, like, medical transport
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
further medical care.
That's true.
So I guess just for like with that side of things, I mean, you've got to have that extensive knowledge of the medical side. Like I said, because 3/4 of your calls are going to be medicals.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'll be doing over the winter, and then hopefully I'll be able to start like applying to some different departments about a year from now.
And it's like this is like a full time thing. Like you
Yeah,
know,
so
like
it'd be
you want to
full-time.
just jump like right out of high school. You just want to be a full time firefighter /
Why?
just medical.
I don't know. I guess I've always. So you guys know my dad's a cop. So
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, I mean that was always kind of my thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go be a cop.
Yeah.
You know, I just follow in the footsteps, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess as I grew up, I guess my dad always told me to be a firefighter and not a cop. And I don't know. I guess it just kind of stuck. I started doing this class. I actually got into the first group of people that were able to take this class during high school through Riverland. That was getting your firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and hazmat done. It's like 3 separate courses that are together, along with some hands-on field days with a lot of the guys from Rochester Fire Department.
And
Yeah.
Riverland is just a local.
Well,
That's
community
just
college.
community college.
Okay. All right.
That's community college.
All
And so Hunter Olson did it too, and Jake Petrick. We were 3 kids, so they actually took a couple of kids from like surrounding schools. So there was a couple kids from Mayo, there's a couple kids from Stewartville. They had, I think,
This is all high school students?
yeah, juniors and seniors. I think 3 from Byron, and
So that's crazy. Like people are doing this.
In high
You
school?
know, like in high school, like you didn't do this as a junior. Was this just like a this year thing, or were you doing this as a
no,
junior?
I was doing this as a junior.
Yeah.
So like that's crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
you know, you're like
I didn't
jumping
know
in
you did
almost
that
to your
either.
full time job. You know, you're getting like you're at least like into it. As
Oh
a
yeah,
junior.
and that's the thing. That's what this whole thing was about. Is like, almost per se a fast track, I guess.
Yeah.
They wanted
smart.
to get people, I guess, inclined to taking on the role,
Yeah.
inclined to taking on the position. And I guess what they were doing is, I mean, they bring in these kids from surrounding schools, and I guess you spread the information by word of mouth, I mean, me telling you guys about this now, some people think like, oh, that's something I want to do.
Yeah.
And, then they go take it upon themselves, and get in this class. Had great turnout with it. Like it was so fun. I mean, the class portion, it wasn't like over the top difficult. Like we couldn't do it on our own without help from somebody that's like already got a job being a firefighter.
Yeah.
They made the hands-on days were like super interesting. Like everything was, I mean, you were able to stay with it and whatnot. So yeah, it was all really good. And yeah, I think everybody had fun doing it.
Okay, Grant. So right now, with like all the training that you've gotten, because you've done this for, what would you say, 2 or 3 years?
It's been
2.
I think 2 years now.
Okay.
I think
so
about since
with your
since
2
we
years
started,
of
yeah.
training and teaching.
See, so that's the thing too, is it's not like it's been 2 years, but I mean, we did this class a year ago. But the thing is it was like the class was a year ago, but I've been on the fire department with Stewartville now for over a year, and we do training there. So I mean, it's been more extensive than just the class alone.
So are you going to college then?
Well, technically no. I mean, this course that I
You'll
did
just go right
it
into
was college credit.
And
Okay.
so back to the question though. So with your 2 years of just knowledge that you have under your belt, right? How much would you say, like right now, if you were to jump into it like right now, how much would you say that you'd like be able to, like consciously be like, all right, I think I would be able to do like this % of the job, like confidently. You know what I mean?
That's like a super hard question to answer. Just being that you like being surrounded by the guys that are on the fire department right now, you never stop learning. And it's like there's guys that have been on the fire department for 40 years
I'm sure.
and guys that have been on the fire department for 2 years that maybe have the same general knowledge about a certain subject. I mean, the guys that have been there for a longer time obviously have extensive knowledge in certain things. But, I mean, there's some times that we do training where it's like everybody is just so mixed in and there's just like I guess you could almost say like a general learning point, I guess, that they teach to like everybody because everybody's on the same level, I guess you would almost say.
Yeah.
But it's like there's just so much that you need to know. And I guess that's the thing of why we do training every week, is like just to keep refreshing your mind on that. Because to hold all the knowledge that you need to know for the entire job, like to have everything memorized, no
It's
shot.
not possible.
And
No
like,
shot.
So like, how many times then is it like the boss man, Mr. Boss Man's got to walk in and just be like, Grant, what are you doing? And you
Well,
just
I
gotta,
guess so that's the other thing. Nobody's like,
boss.
well, there's people that are higher up obviously than me, but it's not like you do something wrong and it's not like they're getting on your ass about it.
Yeah.
They're not like coming after you like you didn't know this, and it's like what can we do to help you? Like here's how you can probably learn this better, and here's how you can do this way and that way, type of thing. Just to like I said, you're just trying. Everybody's trying to enhance their skills, and you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So like, but the other thing is too, we're not 18 yet, so we're not like the first ones going blazing balls into a fire, like setting us in like people are coming with us, and we're like.
Yeah.
Like we're working together and whatnot, but it's not like they're sending us into the burning building and say, okay, do it on your own. I mean, and that's never.
And that's
you're never going in alone, and that's the thing. It's a combination of minds that go in, and you're completing tasks together.
Yeah.
And I
so
guess that's the biggest part about it is just teamwork.
You are on like calls though, right? Like you actually go.
Yeah.
You get the call, you got to go there, and then you go to the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear his phone all the time. Like not all the time, but like a lot. It'll get
So like,
send like that.
is that like when
Yeah.
that happens? When you get like a call, is it kind of like nerve? Like
Oh
kinda
yeah.
nerve-wracking?
So like
You have any stories?
there So I guess as much as I can share, just like being like getting that message, and you get that call, and it's like instant, like you get a little bit of nerves because it's like, oh, like we got a call going, like
Yeah.
time to get moving.
Yeah.
Get to the station. There has never been a time where I've had like more like nerves and like adrenaline flowing through my body than the first time I rolled out of the station on a
I
truck.
bet.
I mean, it was like you roll out of that and they flip on the sirens and they're like turning in the road. They hit the air horn. I mean, it's like classic movie scene. Everything's in slow
That's
motion,
awesome, bro.
and I'm like already sweating sitting on the truck. And
Yeah.
I'm like wiping my face off. I'm putting my hood on. I throw my helmet on over it, and it's like I was like, oh my god, like this is like real type of a thing. We get out there and it was crazy. So one of the actual times we got back, we had just gotten back from Cannon Falls.
Yeah.
We got our asses kind of kicked,
Yeah.
and everybody was feeling a little bit sore. And we're at the
Oh.
DU eating.
Oh, you're talking about on the way back from the football game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
we get back and we're eating
I
at the
remember
DU.
this.
And
You got a call
yeah, and I got a call.
after a football
So
game, bro.
Yeah, so I'm already sore and whatnot. I'm thinking like, everybody's a little bit droopy, but I get
Yeah.
that call and I'm like, I'm right next to the station. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
You get over there and you get out on the scene and throw on the SCBA pack. I mean,
Tiny like side question: what's like the biggest event that you've actually gone to? Is it like fire? Someone like dying almost.
no, I mean just fires. I mean,
But like, has there
they're
ever been like a
all-
big fire, or you're just
Small.
kind of like?
Yeah, we've had. I've been out on a shed fire.
Yeah.
That was pretty extensive, but I mean it.
How often do you get? So like, how does the call thing work? Because obviously
like, that's the
you
thing.
are
So I
not
don't-
constantly on a schedule.
I don't go on medicals.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like out of the picture. But like, any fire or like accidents like that, yeah, I mean I'm going.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
So when you're doing, like, when you get a call, is it you and mostly like 40-year-old dudes, a bunch of like veterans, and then they help you, or is it?
So it's there. We got a pretty like well balanced,
Ages.
like department, I guess you'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some guys that are a little bit older that are like still like engineers though. So like they're running like the pumps on the trucks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the young guys, your interior firefighters, the guys that are going in and
Yeah.
the guys that are older obviously put that work in when they're younger, and
Yeah.
they hand that off. I mean, they hand off the axe to the younger guys, I guess you would say.
Okay, that's.
All right.
I remember the first time that I heard that you did that, because like that's not something that many kids do. Like being able to go on that, that's pretty interesting.
No.
Thinking about
Yeah.
that. So then you, obviously, you're graduating this year. You're a senior, but we're juniors. Like, what is your like thought process right now? With
Panicking. You know how much in the
Yeah.
past year I've learned in the past year? Like,
Yeah.
That you
I-
don't want to work at Chick-fil-A?
oh my god, that job wasn't it. That job wasn't it. But in the past year, I had this conversation with my parents not that long ago.
Yeah.
In the past year, I think I've learned just more like general skills
Mm-hmm.
in the past like 4.
Yeah.
I didn't learn jack squat
Yeah.
in middle school in like 9th grade. And,
Yeah.
I
I
started
feel like when you're
picking
in
up
middle school and
stuff.
stuff, you're just learning like how
Yeah,
to behave.
Yeah, like social. Yeah, fact.
Yeah.
Middle school is you just learn how to socially like almost fit in.
Yeah,
Whatever. And just
whatever,
be
yeah.
you. Blah blah. But then, like just in this past year, I learned how to do like so much. Where I feel like I'm like finally starting. But that's still you go if I get kicked out of my house right now, I'm sure that like this is not just like just a me feeling. I'm sure everyone feels like this,
Yeah.
or a lot of people at least. If I get kicked out right now,
You don't.
I don't like know what I do. Like
Yeah.
I mean I work at Quick Trip.
Yeah.
That's it though. Like it's not like I got anything else.
But, like, what do you like? Because I know we've talked about this like together, but like, what are you interested in as far as like after high school? Like, what do you base your like kind of character around?
Oh,
Like doing? Like, what do you not like doing? What do you like to do? Because I know you don't have, like, I want to go be an engineer or
yeah.
a doctor. Like,
Yeah, side note. That is so... People who know what they want to do,
it's wrong.
you're like, blessed, dude.
I
I'm not going to lie.
They don't know, though. I feel like,
No, like...
going back real quick to the growing up in a small town, I feel like your mind gets so restricted. Like, if you grew up in New York City with a bunch of people or whatever, I feel like a lot more people are more open to doing, like, a bunch of things. But I kind of feel like when you grow up, like, where we do,
You're a little, like...
you get, like, restricted to, like, be like, okay, I'm going to go be a nurse or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But, I mean, your stuff's a little bit on that. Because,
Okay.
like, Grant wants to be a firefighter. Like, he knows that. Like, my
Okay.
sister. And I was going to bring up that example.
But
It's like, my sister, dude, since the time that she could, like, talk, she's been like, dude, I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be a nurse.
that's
I'm gonna
for
be
sure.
a nurse. And you know what she's going to school for right now?
being a
She
nurse.
wants to be a nurse.
Yeah,
And she's
and
going
there's
to be a
people
nurse.
that do that,
No, I
obviously.
mean, and I'm just saying, like, those people, dude, that's like a blessing.
Yeah.
Because,
For
you know, I've
sure.
gone through my entire life, dude. You could ask my parents. I've wanted to be everything under the sun.
I'm the same.
I feel like there's been a ton of people like this. But, you know, I've gone through the point of, like, when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to be a marine biologist.
Yeah.
You know, and then I got to, like, middle school, and I was like, you know, I don't know if that's going to make enough money in blah, blah, blah. So I started worrying about more about money, and I was like, I want to be a lawyer. You know, I feel like it'd be
Yeah.
fun to, like, use words. And then a lawyer came in and was like, oh, we got this bar exam, and college is terrible. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not doing lawyer.
Facts.
Don't want to do that. So I was like, well, my sister wants to be a nurse. Why don't I go be a doctor? And I was like, schooling, that's not it. I'm already too dumb for that. My GPA's trash.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but, like, you know,
Yeah.
that's not it. And then now we're stuck on this idea of, like, my dad is a salesman.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, well, when in doubt, don't know what to do. I'm, like,
And
just
you
banking
screwed
on,
yourself
like,
everywhere else. Become a,
literally.
what do they say?
Entrepreneur.
Well, yeah, entrepreneur, but
I don't
become
know.
a salesman.
No, literally.
Oh,
like,
That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And like that's like, honestly, that fits me perfectly. Where it's like my dad does it, you know, he it's whatever. And then when in doubt, I've already gone to so many other different fields, being like, that's not it, that's not it.
Yeah.
When in doubt, let's just do it. Old Pops does.
You can always become a realtor.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like, sales. I'm just like, that's honestly like what I'm banking on right now. You know, like
Yeah.
2-year degree, maybe going to sales. And I know me and Woody, for the past, I would say probably 6-8 months, somewhere on there, have had a lot of conversation about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We're trying to make our own brand. We're trying to go places, because then there's also people out there that don't want to have a boss constantly on your back telling, like, you know, that's just like, it's just not for some people. And, like,
Yeah.
not like it's a bad thing. You know, some people it's definitely for them. But, like, you know, and we're just trying to, like, open up, like, all these ideas. 'Cause,
Well,
you know, it's 2021 now, too.
We live in the day and age. I think this is where you're going. We live in the day and age of being your own boss.
That's facts.
and,
100%.
and going and doing
Just because
your
we
own
have
thing.
social media and all that stuff.
Becoming an entrepreneur is like the way to go nowadays.
It's true.
I mean, you look at the rate of success of, like, people, like, 8 years ago, you look at people that did YouTube and people are like, oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And they're like,
what? Even
Like,
today,
what do you
it's
mean?
still.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like-
facts.
it's still a little bit iffy, but, like, dude, you look
Not
at
for
how
us.
many people make, like, they make their way doing that. Like, they
Yeah.
make their way on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
like, it's
A
beyond
lot.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't-
not really,
I
though.
think my.
mean,
Okay, yeah,
the
it
amount
is
of
hard.
people that make it on YouTube is just like purely just because the amount of people that are going into YouTube.
It's true.
I feel like
it's
the
true.
ratio is
Well, yeah,
kind of similar,
well,
but
people-
just you got more people going through. The
Yeah,
funnel,
you're right.
like,
Because
the same.
it's just. And everyone had. Like, everyone's on.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a platform of success now. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you look back at time and people are like, oh, like, you'll never make it. And now people are looking to YouTube and being like, oh, maybe I can go on there and maybe I can start this.
Yeah.
And, like, you hear about, like, the people that came from, like, nothing to everything on YouTube. Like, people that are, like, prime creators now. I mean, everybody shares
Yeah.
the same story on that.
Isn't that, like, just talking about social media real quick, isn't it weird that that's, like, you can get paid to just, like, people get paid to podcast, like, just talking, or just, like, putting out your ideas or whatever, like, that you can get paid for that now. Like, if you would have told somebody in, like, 1990 that that's going to be, like, the future,
Well, they didn't even have phones in 1990.
I know, that's what I'm
Early
saying.
on.
It would've been
what do you
crazy.
mean? They had phones.
It would've been
They didn't
crazy.
have, like, mobile.
Yo,
phones.
I
Maybe
mean
not
smartphones.
mobile
Yeah,
phones.
smartphones.
yeah. No phone, no phones.
No, I miss smartphones.
But yeah, what were you saying before that? Before you went, you were talking about, like, what you want to do, and I was like,
yeah,
I think your mindset compared, like, I feel like we have a different mindset though. Although it's really similar, I feel like because you more want to like go into sales
Yeah, like talking
as like
to
a
people
thing
and
where
like yeah.
yeah, I feel like I'm more like I like entrepreneurship and like selling things and stuff like that, but I feel like more like creating a brand, but then like I don't know how to explain it. Like
I mean, you're still in
monetizing that.
entrepreneurship, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like you're
That's
still
what I'm
like
saying.
you're still selling
Something.
I mean,
I feel like no. When we've had this conversation too, it's like two parts of the same business though. It's
That's
one
facts.
guy who like behind the scenes, it's like he's the one like who's making all this stuff and doing it, and then there's just other guy who's taking the easier part. Honestly, I think it's probably the easier part. You just get the product, and now it's your time to go sell it to someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Where,
guess
like,
there's a little
he's
bit of a
making the brand.
difference.
He's doing whatever. He's like trying to like that's what he's more into, and I'm more into like, all right, I have the product. There's some people over there. Now let's actually get them to buy it. You know what I mean?
See, but I guess that's the difference, though. Is I mean, you look at people like Jeff Bezos, and
Yeah.
he's like, look at all these people that make
He's
this
getting
product,
away.
and now
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell it, but we're gonna do it on a giant scale
Yeah.
all over the world, and there's no limits as to how far we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I
kind
mean,
of in the same like boat
go-
as you.
You go from a dude that's selling bare paint to people to sell them,
Yeah.
gallon drums of paint to paint their house, and then you go from that type of entrepreneurship to people that are selling, whole store wides of stuff, like, somebody that comes up with, Ace Hardware or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what like that though, like not because there's like a type of business where he's like providing. He made like Amazon or whatever so that people could sell their stuff, but then there's people who make their own product and sell
Wait.
that.
Is that what Amazon was intended?
What? No, he made it so you could sell books on it. I believe it was
but
just a book
Yeah,
place.
but not like your own stuff. It's like you can buy it. Like,
Well, it goes
online
through
books.
Amazon, but then it's sold.
But it's not like eBay, where anyone can just start posting these books.
No,
right?
yeah, you can sell your stuff through Amazon.
You can buy like other people's stuff, like not from like a
Oh,
retailer.
yeah, you
or
can
Yeah.
buy
something
you
like that?
stuff.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Amazon isn't their own store. It's stuff that people make that goes
Like
to
a
Amazon.
retailer.
Most
though.
of them
I mean,
are
it's coming
certified
from-
dealers. Most of them are
You
certified
have to
dealers
get-
that...
Amazon FBA is like, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. You have
Alright,
to
whatever,
get
it's fine.
certified to do it, but yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's all the time we got today. Like Ty said in the beginning, we're going to be doing this every week. So if you guys got anything you want to hear, anything you want to listen to,
Guess
uh,
that people
guess
want to
you
be
want
on.
to see, yeah, for sure.
We already got
Um,
like some people lined up, but like definitely topics and things that people want to hear us talk about. And also go follow us on TikTok. Off the Cuff brand is our TikTok. We're gonna be posting like clips, like 10-second clips or whatever from like our podcast. So this podcast will probably have like, I don't know, 10 clips from it, and we're gonna post those on TikTok. So yeah, go follow that.
One big thing too, we'll be sending out links,
Yeah,
so
on
we
Snapchat
can
and
get you
stuff.
guys pages. Obviously, channel starting up, so a little bit more difficult right away, but we'll get links out right away, in
Yeah.
descriptions and whatnot.
Any suggestions? Hit us up. If we can make it better, if there's
Yep.
something you didn't like, just let us know.
And also
We can
one
try and
thing
change it.
I was thinking maybe we could do, like if you guys would be interested in doing it, would be like Q&A, like maybe on one of our stories or whatever, just like ask for direct questions, and we can just do like a Q&A.
I was gonna say we can do a
do
little
that.
run off of those.
We could do that, and
Obviously,
the
the podcast isn't very, I guess you would say,
Official.
official.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
stuff like that probably won't happen as often. Like you said, it's off the cuff. It's totally random as to what we're talking about. So I guess more like prompts you guys want to hear of like different stuff like in different categories is like all right, but like
It's kind of gonna be
nothing
random.
like too specific. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's just not.
Just like today, like
That's
we're
not
just gonna talk about everything. But the podcast is gonna be on Spotify and Apple and YouTube right away. It might take a little bit for our podcast to process through like Spotify and Apple. So the first place it's gonna be is on YouTube. So like we'll put the links and stuff up. But yeah, that's where it's gonna be right away.
I was saying
So-
we'll be posting on stories and whatnot and on social media.
Yep.
We'll let you know when videos are going to be up.
Yep.
Nothing set as of right now. I mean, it's
I wouldn't go as far as that. I'd say plan on I think our idea for right now, it could change a lot, but our idea for right now is Fridays. We're going to try and upload on Fridays so that we can get it to you guys for the weekend. Everyone has like a Friday feeling. But, yeah, I don't think we plan on going anywhere. We're going to keep making these, so you guys just tune in. Have a great night.
See ya.
All right, boys.
Peace.